Hello, everyone. We're trying something different this week. We are previewing our outrights, giving our reasoning, and just talking a little golf here. So, a lot of people have been asking in the past on our TikToks and on our pages some of the reasoning behind the picks that we're making for golf, and that is our premier sport. So, we're going to get into that. I it just got back from the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Not got back. I mean, I live here, but I was in attendance this week. So, yeah, Ryan and I are going to discuss. We're the main two people on the scratch page. We're hoping to expand this to other sports. And if so, you'll maybe start seeing some of the other faces that are linked to our brand. But for now, we're going to stick with golf. And who knows, maybe as Diego gets more into golf, he can start offering some more insight. But for now, it's pretty
Some
poor.
more tennis, some more
Yeah.
college basketball potentially. Football
Well,
seasons in a
hopefully
few
not
months.
college basketball.
Well, hopefully not, but
Yeah.
maybe some March Madness specials.
Yeah, no, I mean, Diego and I always talk about how we hate seeing a big college basketball game coming up because we know that that could be a subtraction from our bank account. So,
Well, there was really an addition last night as it was an avoidance of betting Arizona, which was pretty good.
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's very fair. So, but yeah, I mean, tennis is in full swing of things, and golf is really getting into the main part of the season. So,
we're
yeah, I
really on
don't
the
think
edge in
there's
golf.
yeah, I don't think there's too much to talk about in Phoenix, but it's basically as close as you can get to a signature event without being a signature event, just because, the crybabies, the Rorys of the world don't want to go play it. So, um, they don't consider it a signature event. But this week is, of course, Rory likes to play Pebble, so they succumb to taking away the pro-am part of it for the full week. Because of
I
course they
believe
have to
Rory
cater to
is,
him.
I believe Rory's with Jimmy Dunn for
Yeah. But
many
only is it
consecutive
is
years.
it is it two rounds this year? They kind
Yeah,
of have switched recently between two and three,
I
but
wanted to mention that just really quickly. Jay Monahan, one of the most disastrous commissioners in all of sports, maybe one of the best decisions and choices he's made and has hands on was making Pebble far better than it was 10 years ago, eliminating it from three pro rounds to two, eliminating the third course, Monterey Peninsula, the worst of those three courses. I love the Guinness addition to it. But the Spyglass Pebble Thursday, Friday program, Thursday, Friday, and having it be straight Pebble, straight pros on the weekend makes it one of the best events on tour, in my opinion, and makes it why the West Coast swing stays at the best like 4 week swing on the golf season, in my opinion.
yeah, and I think we can really just get right into the course because I think that is you mentioned it on the page. It it gets a lot of its. I think the hate is a little bit misplaced towards Pebble. I think the hate is misplaced towards the Pebble that shows up at the U.S. Open, and I am one of those people that don't love to see the U.S. Open at Pebble. I just don't think it's needed because the Pebble Beach Pro-Am is already such a premier event, especially now that you get all the big players there. For a PGA Tour tournament, it's awesome. I mean, it's awesome to see them have to deal with the conditions that you don't always get to see. It's just it's nice to see the 3 week stretch that goes Phoenix, Pebble, and then into Genesis. Three very good golf courses that challenge you in very different ways. So I really like this course. It's a wedge fest, but you can also have long irons into some holes if the wind's getting up there, which it usually does
Mm-hmm.
at least one of the days. But when it's blowing on Sunday, that back nine gets really tricky, and I think that that's a really good aspect to this course.
I do think we got a little unlucky as I don't know if you saw today, it was howling in the practice rounds, and it looks like early forecasts that it's not going to be too windy this week. Um, Going back a little bit with what you said, I am one of the people that like Pebble at the US Open, and I understand why a lot of people don't. I just love seeing it that firm and that windy. Like those 2010 US Open highlights are some of those golf highlights with Tiger and Phil in contention that I love going back and seeing the most. But that is really kind of walking a thin tightrope of having it be as firm as it was and then as windy as it was. Like the 2019 US Open was kind of a disgrace. Best case scenario would be Pebble more towards the March or May area of the season, having it firmer than it is now avoiding it be at the US Open, kind of get the best of both worlds. But even if it is right now, it is still a phenomenal PGA Tour course. I mentioned on the TikTok yesterday, the small greens and the slopey greens are what make it so appealing to me. Like, we're big Spieth fans. The shot he hit in 2021 on 16 just like rings in my mind of like hitting that huge hook, starting it off the green to the right, landing it in the center of the green, and having it kick 25 feet left into the hole. That's what makes Pebble Pebble, in my opinion, and why this week is part of the best stretch on the tour.
Yeah, and I think the course fit is weird because the the course comps are pretty poor golf courses for the most part.
Other than Colonial, I would say, but Colonial isn't as good as it once was.
Yeah, I think since the change, Colonial, according to Data Golf, I can't even find Colonial on here in the course fits.
I may have been mistaken.
76th.
Okay.
Um,
What was the horse comps that Elise sent a few days ago?
that's a good question because you might have been looking at somewhere else too. But according to Data Golf, we got La Quinta, Medina, Summerlin, Shadow
Yeah.
Creek. So I guess it's actually not that bad of a list. Um,
Shadow Creek we
St.
don't see on tour though, but all those
St. George's, yeah, which I
exotic tour
think's a
courses
good
are
thing.
bottom
The
barrel.
less TPCs you're seeing towards the top of that list, the better.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, it really just is a week where your wedges have to be on. That's the main thing. Um,
Spin control too. It's going to be wet.
yeah,
Going to
yeah,
be very wet.
like it's not the rest of the things are weighted pretty averagely. So we're on four good approach players this week, and that is sort of the focus that we're going for. I don't know
Do you
if you
want to
have.
go with the top of the card guy that you were more in favor of, and I can go with the guy that I was more in favor of?
I actually wouldn't say I was that more in favor of. I just don't. I just in the bottom of my very big gut, I don't really see Hovland lifting the trophy this week. That's more why I was less in favor of him. But he does fit. He does check all the boxes.
Hmm.
I don't know where he finished last week, but he was on the leaderboard towards the end, so it wouldn't surprise me if he finished top 10. Did you? What did he finish at?
He finished at -12 and he was one over on the back nine.
Yeah, no, because
So
I
he
mean he
was
was on the leaderboard
-13.
all week, and then I
Yeah.
stopped sort of stopped hearing his name. Um, but yeah, that makes sense. So
And you were following Mav for 27 of the final 36 holes in the weekend, and you like what you saw a lot of it.
I like what I saw, especially yeah, it looked like he was in control of his game, which was good. He missed a lot of putts on Sunday, which was kind of what led him to the score that he ended up shooting. So, I mean, we are pretty it stinks because we usually it's what we always end up blaming when we lose, but
Hmm.
we do like to stay away from the good putters for the most part. We like spikers. Um, and I wouldn't say McNeely's. I don't even where does McNeely rank on in putting this year? Hey, I don't think it's anything
I think
disastrous, but
no, it's not.
he's certainly not someone you think of as a great putter. So it's just kind of one of those guys who I think if the putts fall, I think he could absolutely contend. He plays well in wind, I feel
Data
like.
Golf Data Golf has him as a very good putter.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I think more so in the early days or round three especially, but he did gain point 0.6 strokes putting in Phoenix.
I mean that
But
makes sense.
yeah,
He made every putt he looked at Saturday.
he's on a really good streak at the beginning of the year. Three top 25s, two
Yeah.
straight top 15s. Should have been a top five in Phoenix again. Little overblown how bad Sunday was with everybody in the top of the leaderboard so bunched. So kind of makes it somewhat of a buying low situation. The top 13 finish last week is not reflective of how well he played consistently throughout the first 3.5 days, in my opinion.
He's just he's an incredibly solid put together golfer that just you feel like should have more wins per the amount of top fives, top tens that he has. So it really is those players we love to be on. I mean, we have our people that really kill us week in and week out. The Thors of the world, and I mean, I wouldn't even say the Spieths of the world. That's just biased on our part.
Quick side note. Yeah, that is biased. Did you follow Thor on the back nine at
I
Phoenix?
did.
I don't know. Okay.
Yes.
Can you give a minute on that?
Yeah, I can. I saw. He had a look in his eye walking into the tunnel on 16, and then it just kind of all happened so fast. So
So sitting on my couch, because you didn't see Scottie, I saw Scottie 25 whatever minutes before hit 9 iron, and his ball barely stays on the back of the green. And Thor hits it further than Scottie, and I see him pull out 9 iron and then 16T. And he has a veteran caddy. He used to JJ Janovitz used to be Morikawa's caddy, and he pulls out 9 iron. And I'm like, this is gonna go long. And then I see the swing, and it's a
yep.
full bore swing. So that's the stuff that I think he's going to learn from. He didn't seem down at all in his press conference after the round, which I like. It's going to lead us to be on Thor in the future. But for this week, I don't know if it's a great fit for him, and it's kind of just like very raw after that. I mean, it really was a collapse. He could have gone even on the last 3 holes, and those are not hard holes, and he wins a golf tournament outside of the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, Diego and I were basically we didn't say it because I mean, what can go wrong will go wrong for the scratch gamblers. We're the unluckiest group of gamblers on the planet. Um,
Mhm.
but we did. We both sort of had that thought that when that eagle putt went in, that it was finally his day. Um,
No, me too. I didn't
it
think
it didn't really look like it was because I didn't think Hideki was going to birdie again, and I was just like, surely he's not going to be worse than even on the last few holes.
the swing on 12 was shockingly bad. Got away with murder making par there. Laid up on 13 and hits his layup to a foot or hits his
Well,
third shot to a
that's
foot.
another reason why I thought it was going to be Thor's day because he made that putt on 6 for par and he made that putt on 12 for par. And Diego and I were like, those are putts that he just doesn't usually make on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I would say I kind of saw it in Japan a few months back when was the last time we really had him have a chance. He made a lot of those putts for the first 12 holes. And then the final 6 holes, they didn't go in. And then when that one on 15 went in, I was like, I let out a thunderous roar at my Super Bowl party. And I really did think it was his time. But when I
well,
saw that 9 get pulled on 16, I was disappointed in
it
seeing that.
was it was the only roar you let out at your Super Bowl party.
This
Um,
is the first thing we're doing. First golf episode. We're sticking to golf. We're not going to talk about the Super
no, I
Bowl.
mean, well, that's what you'd like, but I'll see how I can connect it. Well, I mean, I can. I can say that it wasn't
It
the
was a
only
tough.
loss that Thor suffered that day. So,
Yeah, it was a tough day for Massachusetts on
yeah.
Sunday.
Well, it's
Celtics got
deserved.
lost by 30.
Yeah, it's deserved.
Yeah. All
So
frogs. Tough game.
yeah. Yeah, it was a ball frog collapse. Ball
Yeah, it
frogs were
was.
about minus 9,000 with a few holes to play. So,
Yeah.
um,
Where were we?
so we have Hovland and McNeely at the top of the board.
We didn't
Um,
touch on Hovland too much. Yeah, he played really well at Phoenix. The ball striking. He hit a lot of good putts. I don't know. I don't think you saw a single shot of him on Sunday. He hit a lot of good putts on the front nine that were just barely missing. I didn't catch much of like the final 6 holes, which again, to go one over on that final nine when there's so many birdie holes out there, like again, I feel like there's some missed opportunities that he can kind of make it amends for this week. Won the USM at Pebble, has a few top 15s here in the past few years. I think like last year really lit a fire under him to get back to a consistent level, even if he pulled a win out of his ass when he wasn't playing well. I do like Hovland. It was my initial just gut feeling of this guy seems like another big win is coming soon.
and Hovland's a friend of the scratch gamblers. He tends to do us right when we need him to lose. He usually
Yes.
loses for us.
Would you
And
consider him a winner? When you would you
uh,
consider him when he gets in when he has a chance? Would you consider him someone that takes advantage of his good weeks?
no,
Okay, I
no, I
would.
wouldn't. I don't
I
know if I'd
think I
call him a
would.
loser
Okay,
like
you call him
Thor.
somewhere in the middle ground.
But yeah, no. But I also feel like it's tough. I'm gonna push the. I'm not a huge Thor guy, so I'll push the Thor loser agenda. But you have to kind of create that over time. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
if Thor wins the next year, it's tough to call him a loser because he couldn't close it in the first year of his.
Yeah.
So we'll
This
see
is
what
his
happens
first
with
year being a
Thor.
very good player. Like he's starting to
I
become
we
really consistent.
Yeah. So we then go to our third outright, and it is a small card for us this week, because it is the first signature event, and the good players usually, the big names usually win these, and I think that's
We
probably where the signature events have become. I'm not the biggest fan of the signature events compared to other people. I think they're good for the tour, but I don't think they're as game changing as some people think they are. Um,
I would agree with that. I
I
think
But they do produce great winners. I mean,
and great Sundays.
75% of the time it's a good tournament with a big name winning. So that's a good thing, but we're going to someone who hasn't played on the PGA Tour in a long time. He hasn't played since the Tour Championship, and that's Shane Lowry. And I'd say we bet Shane Lowry probably 3 to 5 times a year. He finds our cards a good amount, I'd say, in the last few years, and he's hitting and he's gained strokes approach, and he's only lost strokes approach 3 times in the last year.
Yeah, the one thing that does scare me though is, I mean, it happened at the Dubai a few weeks ago when you were watching it. You were watching really the entire
Of
thing during
course.
the Australian Open, where it was just another golden opportunity for him to win. And it's not just like kind of like a 50-50 opportunity that goes the other way. Like he had an 80% chance to win that at one point and he gags it. And I feel like that's been the case a few times back at the Truist. I think I'm missing one other time.
The Open,
The Open, yeah. So US Open a few years back. But when
not
he's there
last year's
so
Open, but
consistently, when he's there so consistently and the ball striking is so consistent, you have to live with the chokes, in my opinion. When I'm thinking of how you formulate a golf card, you have to live with the chokes when you know that they're consistently going to be there. He finished second here last year. That was another missed opportunity. Um, so I do believe, and he's another guy. I think like his wedge play with that spin control that I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a big factor that I do like his chances this week.
yeah, I mean he's literally an approach machine. He never loses big on approach.
No,
Um, and every time he's lost strokes on approach, nope, bar one, he's gained strokes putting, so that helps. But Shane Lowry's not going to win this golf tournament if he doesn't gain strokes approach. We are kind of banking on that. So, but I mean, the odds are in our favor there. So we're going with someone who you can always guarantee to hit greens and hit them fairly, and have the proximity be fairly solid, especially in wind. He's a good wind player because the wind can show up.
at
Absolutely.
a
I mean, it's
snap of the
Pebble.
finger.
The
Yeah,
weather changes all over the place. I'm pretty sure when we recorded to go get that podcast episode last night, it was looking super windy on Saturday, and now there's like no wind forecasted. So we'll see what happens there. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty simple reasoning for Lowry. He's just an approach machine, and he wins when the putter gets hot. So that's kind of the formula that we're going to this week and do
that's
on many
another,
weeks.
and that formula kind of carries over into our last guy, which he's a guy again. He's looking for his first win. Some are calling him the hottest player in the world, just a monster on the approach. And if he can just have a good putting week, he's going to play well. He has three second place finishes within the last 3 months consecutively, which is crazy. And that's going to be Ryan Gerard. Finished second place at the Sony Open, finished second place T2 at the American Express, down by a million to Scottie. Um, this is just a guy that we really like to hang our hat on, one of these mid-tier guys that default he's going to be on the card or he's going to be on consideration. We try to find ways how to get him off, and we almost did this week. He does struggle somewhat with his wedge play. He's more of a long iron specialist, but there are enough long iron opportunities here to really stunt on those. He gets some confidence there. The wedge play, when it's more on a consistent basis, can kind of find some darts in there and again, just make some putts. So, I mean, he's on a really hot streak. I thought last week we avoided him last week because we had the feeling that that was going to end, and it really did not. So until it really does officially end, we're just going to ride with him.
Yeah, and you make a good point. There are a lot of players that we try and justify getting off the card, but I mean, sometimes it's tough, right? Like we have a proven winning formula that wins basically humongously every season. Um, and when the formula says yes, sometimes it's tough to say no. Um, because you really can't. Golf is a numbers game. Golf is a numbers game, and not only a numbers game, you got to know the players too. I don't think Gerard's like a choker, but
No, I wouldn't say that
it
at
just
all.
hasn't been his day yet. He's a he's
He
just a
balled
good
out. He balled
he's a
out at the
good
Sony,
golfer.
and Chris Goddard balled out harder. And Chris Goddard, one of the best players in the world right now, you can absolutely live with that. He made the putts. He made a big birdie down the stretch. He made a few big birdies down the stretch of the Sony. I think it's a really big confidence booster for him. And again, just like bounce off that with a T11 at the Farmers, just continuing good play. Gerard's time is coming.
Yeah. So that's at least what we have for Pebble. It is a little bit of a slow season right now for us. With the Olympic break. Um, Small tennis tournaments. Soccer's been very good for us recently.
There will
Trying to
be
think
some
what
Olympic
else.
hockey, correct?
Yes, Olympic hockey begins, I think, Wednesday. But we do have the Qatar Open for the next fortnight.
I would say
Um,
one last thing that we didn't mention about the golf tournament. Uh, this is something that we will always be doing, and I want to hear it from your words of why we 100% of the time when Scottie Scheffler is in the field will bet without Scottie Scheffler. That's a huge point of contention among golf Twitter. People disagree with it. People kind of go in and out of betting without Scottie, with Scottie. Why do we 100% of the time bet without Scottie?
um, it's simply stupid to not. Uh, the odds don't change enough for you to be able to justify with how much he wins. Um,
When
two
he doesn't
years
win,
ago,
it's when he
two
like
years
last
ago,
week.
yeah, I mean, it's just stress you don't need. Because we've hit, I believe, twice with,
Partially.
yeah, but still, it makes up for the odd changes
Hmm.
and the one guy that you leave out every week.
Exactly.
All you gotta do is hit one a year without Scotty, and it makes up for the whole thing. And we've done that so far, even if you're hitting partially, and we're not ever gonna hit partially again because we found out that MGM pays out in full now. So, um, bet without Scotty, bet on MGM. It is an absolute ridiculous gift that they are gifting you full payouts with Scotty Scheffler because you can literally have a six-way tie for second, and Scotty can win by 8. You don't even need to win the playoff. You can just
Well
forget
said.
Scotty exists every week. It's the right play. Should happen every single time. It's really tough for me to um, consider golf bettors who strive to win. Um, it, it it's tough for me to take them seriously. Um,
Not the worst
we've
point.
seen a lot of golf Twitter come around. We've also seen a lot of the Twitter be stubborn, and I'm one of the most stubborn people on the planet. So I can at least respect the stubbornness.
Yes.
Um,
But I
but
am
it's
seeing more this year, and I think like last week played a big part in that he could not have played worse on Thursday. He honestly didn't play special Thursday through or Friday through Sunday, and he finishes one back. He's going to win this week. Personally, for me, another added benefit to betting without Scotty, I enjoy watching his golf more. I was not a fan of him in the 2022, 2023,
yeah.
beginning part of 2024. Ever since we started to bet without Scotty every single week, I appreciate how great he is, and he is so great. He is closer to Tiger than so many people will give him credit for this 2.5 year run. The long term situation with Tiger, obviously not close. If you take this 2.5 year stretch of Scotty, you compare it to really any single stretch of Tigers, it's not that far off. And people
No,
really
it's
have to
not.
start recognizing that.
No, it's not.
It's off, but the gap is not large at all.
The gap is smaller than the average boomer would probably tell you it is.
Exactly.
So
So I enjoy watching Scottie Scheffler now, and I love betting golf without Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah. So it's that simple. Um, Not much else to talk about. Soccer to continue this week. Olympic hockey to come. Hopefully no college basketball, but maybe
Maybe a
um
player or two here or there.
maybe a player or two here and there to cut
Maybe an
into the
FRL.
outright profits. Yeah, maybe an FRL. Stay tuned because we're really due to hit an FRL. So
The Fitz
um
FRL. That's gonna haunt. We don't have to
yeah,
go into that, but if you pay attention to round one of Phoenix, the Fitz got her up FRL situation, you'd know our
it's
pain.
yeah, it was horrible. So
All
yeah, we
right.
decided to do something different. That's all we have today. We'll be back pretty much every week with a golf preview. That seems to be definitely the formula we'll do. Maybe, and then tag in some special episodes in other sports when it calls for that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who wanted the explanations on behind our picks, but the method behind the madness, here you go. Tried to keep it short and sweet for you, pretty simple. A lot of this stuff you can find by just buying
Watching golf.
a data golf account and watching the tournaments. But yeah, that's all we got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's go Pebble.